thought I had found the right family for me.
The story of Natalia Grace recently went viral after a docuseries about her bizarre situation was released.
I want them to see me, not what people are saying.
Natalia's adoptive parents had accused her of being a dangerous adult who was only pretending to be a young defenseless orphan.
It's not true at all.
The whole ordeal surrounding Natalia, her real age, and the outrageous claims her adoptive parents made is baffling. But the truth about what really happened is absolutely shocking. A few months ago, the curious case of Natalia Grace premiered on Investigation Discovery. The 6-episode docuseries detailed how Natalia was adopted by Michael and Christine Barnett and the insane scandal that followed. But before we get into Natalia's side of the story and the unbelievable updates in the case, let's recap the basics from the docuseries. When the Barnetts adopted Natalia in 2010, they were told that she was a 6 or 7-year-old Ukrainian child with a type of dwarfism. Michael and Christine were supposedly given almost no background information on Natalia, so they didn't have solid proof of her real age. But what happened immediately after they adopted her was honestly crazy. The Barnetts claimed that they started noticing signs right away that Natalia might not be a young child. At first, they believed that she was older based on her physical features, but within 2 years, their suspicions took a seriously dark turn. It didn't take long for the Barnetts to become convinced that Natalia was actually an adult with very disturbing motive. By 2012, she had allegedly started trying to physically harm her adoptive parents and brothers.
She would put thumbtacks face up on our stairs, so when we would walk up and down stairs, we would be stepping on thumbtacks.
Michael claimed that Natalia's bad behavior was minor at first, but soon her attempts to hurt her adoptive parents supposedly became scary and threatening.
When I woke up in the middle of the night and Natalia was standing over my bed with a knife in her hand.
At that moment, she was allegedly also holding a weapon in her hand. Shortly after that incident, Natalia supposedly shifted her focus to her adoptive siblings.
She began to attempt to harm my sons in a very serious manner.
According to Michael and Christine, Natalia tried to trick their sons into running into oncoming traffic. The Barnetts claimed that she had tried to end all of the family members' lives in so many startling ways. That's what led them to make a decision that would turn Natalia's entire world upside down. Michael and Christine petitioned the court to change Natalia's age. After the court heard from the Barnetts' family doctor, Natalia's birth year was legally changed from 2003 to 1989. Since Natalia was all of a sudden 22 years old instead of 8, she was technically a legal adult. Not long after her age was changed, Michael and Christine decided to get her an apartment to live in by herself.
She lived there for a year on her own while we lived by her. We visited her about twice a week.
Michael added that after Natalia's first lease was up, she was moved into a different apartment. Right after that, the family moved to Canada, leaving Natalia in Indiana. But it turns out that she might have moved into her second apartment for a completely different reason. 6 years after Michael and Christine reportedly abandoned Natalia, they were charged with child neglect. During the Barnetts' trials, Natalia's neighbors from her first apartment testified in court. What they confessed to have seen at the time was absolutely awful. According to the Daily Mail, Natalia didn't move because her lease was up like Michael had said. Allegedly, there had been so many complaints from her neighbors that the Barnetts had no other choice but to find another apartment for her. Natalia's neighbors admitted that it was clearly challenging for her to take care of herself on her own. They explained that her body odor was excessive and her clothes looked very dirty and worn. But Natalia's testimony was especially alarming. Natalia claimed that she mostly ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and ramen noodles while living on her own. Because her hands and arms have limited mobility and function, she couldn't really open any cans to prepare anything else. Natalia's short height also presented problems because she was living in an apartment made for an average-sized adult. She couldn't reach anything she needed, despite Michael's claims that she could live on her own perfectly fine. But that's not the only surprising contrast between their sides of the story. Natalia's take on what really happened is incredibly different from the Barnett side in almost every way.
To tell people what really happened because I didn't get that chance.
For the longest time, she couldn't expose what happened during her time with the Barnetts due to their court cases. But soon, her version of the truth will be released in the curious case of Natalia Grace, Natalia Speaks. It sounds like Natalia isn't going to be holding anything back.
It's shocking and it's frustrating because that's not true.
But Natalia isn't the only one arguing against the Barnett's mind-blowing allegation. Vincent and Nicole DePaul have also spoken out in support of Natalia. A year before she was adopted by the Barnetts, she was almost adopted by the DePauls. Apparently, the adoption didn't work out with the DePauls due to financial issues, but Vincent and Nicole spent a lot of time with Natalia, and they still have copies of her old documents. What they revealed during an interview with Inside Edition was seriously unbelievable.
DePaul showed me stacks of adoption paperwork that lists Natalia's official birth date.
The birth date listed on the paperwork states that Natalia was born on September 4th, 2003, just like the adoption agency told the Barnett. The DePauls also have photos of Natalia that prove she wasn't an adult in a shocking way.
You see here,
That's a baby tooth.
she lost a tooth and she's got another tooth coming in.
Thankfully, Natalia's new parents, Cynthia and Antoine Mans, also support her and believe her side of the story. Nearly 10 years ago, after Natalia moved into her second apartment, Cynthia became aware that she was living on her own. What happened next was honestly insane. Cynthia and Antoine invited Natalia over to their house, and she lived alongside their other children ever since. The couple claimed to have legally adopted her in 2016. The following year, Natalia's new family brought her to the hospital to have another bone scan done. But despite the fact that the results show that Natalia actually was a child, that still didn't legally reverse her age. Remaining a legal adult didn't change anything for Natalia's home life with the Mans family though. She's currently still living with them in Indiana, but instead of going by Natalia's legal age of 34, they believe she currently turned 20 years old. What's really crazy is that Cynthia and Antoine supposedly haven't had a major issue with Natalia or her behavior at all. That couldn't be more different from Michael and Christine's claims that Natalia was a dangerous, manipulative person. Sadly, years after the Barnetts accused Natalia of scamming her way into being adopted, she still feels hurt by their allegations.
It's not true at all.
Natalia previously said that she was ordered to tell people that she was an adult and also that she had tried to purposely harm the Barnett. But she was most likely a confused, mistreated child who was only doing what her adoptive parents told her to do. Now Natalia wants people to know that she's not the monster that Michael and Christine have made her out to be for so long.
Them to see the genuine me, and I want them to see how my little sister and my little brother see me.
The Barnetts may have originally been united in their allegations against Natalia, but their marriage didn't last. After they moved to Canada, Michael and Christine ended up divorcing and going in totally different directions. Now Michael is living back in Indiana while Christine currently resides in Florida. Michael had shifted a lot of the blame onto Christine in court, which she blamed the state for not having proper services to help Natalia. Just like in the docuseries, Michael and Christine seemed to mainly share details that painted them in a positive light. Even though Michael and Christine's court case are finally over, the end results were pretty unexpected. Neither of them was convicted of child neglect since they had moved away from Natalia after the court had legally changed her age. It'll be interesting to hear more from Natalia's perspective in the upcoming installment of the docuseries. Maybe once her entire side of the story is revealed, people will have a better idea of where they stand. For now, some people still believe the Barnetts, others think that Michael and Christine are liars, or possibly even crazy. The theory that they only changed Natalia's age so that they could leave her behind without being criminally charged seems to be pretty popular. Overall, there seems to be more evidence that supports the claim that Natalia truly was a child when she was adopted. But now that we've gotten into what actually happened between Natalia and the Barnetts, I'm curious to know what you guys think. Do you believe the Barnetts claim that Natalia was a dangerous adult who tricked them into adopting her? Or do you believe that Natalia really was innocent all along and that she's much younger than her legal age? Will you be tuning in to the curious case of Natalia Grace, Natalia Speaks, when it's released? Let me know in the comments below.